Picture yourself walking onto a dealer lot on a Saturday afternoon, and before your shoes have even stopped crunching on the gravel, somebody in a polo shirt is heading toward you with a clipboard and a smile that has been practiced in a mirror. He shakes your hand, asks your name, and then, before you've even slid into the driver's seat of the car you came to see, he drops a question that sounds completely harmless. So, what kind of monthly payment were you thinking? Here is the thing. That question is not small talk. That question is the opening move in a chess game you didn't know you were playing. And most of us answer it in about 3 seconds, without realizing we just handed over our queen. I'm Daniel Brooks, and I've spent way too much of my life buried in dealer training manuals, finance disclosures, and the kind of consumer reports nobody actually wants to read on a weekend. The thing I keep coming back to is this. A car deal isn't one negotiation. It is a poker game with 4 hands being played at the same time. There is the price of the car, the value of your trade, the terms of your loan, and the add-ons, they slide in at the finance desk. Every question the salesperson asks is designed to peek at one of your cards. And today I'm going to walk you through the 5 questions you should never answer honestly on a car lot, along with exactly what to say instead. Let's start with the big one, the monthly payment question, because this is the card the entire game is built around. The average new car payment in America just hit a record $767 a month in the fourth quarter of 2025, according to Experian data reported by LendingTree, and the average new car loan now sits at $43,582. As for the average loan term, it stretches to almost 69 months, and for non-prime borrowers, it pushes past 75. That is 6.25 years of payments on something that loses value every time it rains. When you tell a salesperson, I am looking for around $500 a month, you've just handed them a target. And a target is the most dangerous thing you can give a dealership, because they have 4 levers they can pull to hit it. They can raise the price of the car, lowball your trade-in, stretch the loan from 60 months to 84, or mark up your interest rate. Zach Shefska, who runs the consumer advocacy site Kedge with his dad Ray, a 43-year veteran of the business, put it perfectly to Consumer Reports when he explained that sales managers are trained to talk about monthly payment because, quote, by talking about monthly payment, you're obfuscating variables that are profit centers for the dealership. So, what do you say instead? Try this. I'm focused on the total out, the door price of the car, and we can talk about financing after we agree on that number. That sentence is your shield, and it deflects every follow-up. If the salesperson keeps pushing after you say it, that is not negotiation. That is a tell. The second question sounds even more innocent than the first. Are you financing or paying cash? Look, this one used to confuse me too. Because you think a dealer would love a cash buyer, they don't. And they actively prefer financing because that is where a huge chunk of their profit hides. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been warning about this since 2013, and the mechanics are pretty simple. When a dealer arranges your loan, the bank gives them what is called a buy rate, and the dealer is allowed to mark it up by a point or two before they quote it to you. They pocket the difference. That is called dealer reserve, and it can quietly add hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to what you pay over the life of the loan without ever showing up as a line item. Answer, cash too early, and the dealer might raise the price of the car to make up for the lost financing profit, or refuse to budge on the sticker. Answer, financing, and they start mentally building the markup into your rate before you've even asked about APR. The right move keeps this card face down. Just say, I haven't decided yet, it depends on the numbers. Before you ever set foot on the lot, get pre-approved through your bank, or even better, a credit union. As of late 2025, credit unions held about 22% of the auto loan market, and they consistently offer some of the lowest rates available. Walking in with a pre-approval in your pocket is like sitting down at the poker table, already knowing what is in the deck. This is the part where I'd normally try to keep you watching with some kind of slick transition, but I'm going to be straight with you instead. If this is helping, hit the subscribe button, because the algorithm punishes channels that talk honestly about industries with deep advertising pockets. And car dealerships absolutely qualify. Subscribing is genuinely the difference between this kind of video reaching 10,000 people or 100,000? Okay, back to the game. The third question is the trade-in question. And this is where the four hands of poker really start tangling together. So, are you trading in your current car? What do you think it is worth? Mike Davenport, the dealer behind the YouTube channel Chevy Dude, calls this trying you on. If you underestimate your trade, they happily offer you exactly what you said and pocket the difference. And if you overestimate it, they spend the next 20 minutes wearing your confidence down with objections about mileage, tires, that little scuff on the bumper, until you're so demoralized, you'll take whatever number they slide across the desk. Here is what makes the trade so dangerous. It is the easiest lever for them to manipulate. Because the value is genuinely fuzzy, they can tack an extra 1,000 onto the trade, then quietly add 1,500 to the car, and you walk out feeling like you won. You didn't. Edmunds, and pretty much every consumer advocate worth listening to, says the same thing, which is that you have to treat the trade-in as a completely separate transaction. Negotiate the new car first, as if you have no trade at all. Get the out-the-door price in writing, and only then ask what they'll give you for your old one. Before you even drive to the dealership, grab a written offer from CarMax and an online quote from Carvana, because those become your floor. If the dealer beats them, great, and if they don't, you sell to CarMax on the way home. The script you use on the lot is simple. I might have a trade, but let's settle the price of this car first. That one sentence saves people thousands. The fourth question is the down payment question, and it is basically the monthly payment question wearing a different hat. How much were you planning to put down? Same trap, different doorway. Once they know your down payment and your target monthly payment, they have two corners of the puzzle locked in, and they can shape the other two corners, the price and the loan term, to fit whatever profit margin they need. Think about it this way. If you tell them you are putting $5,000 down and you want a $500 payment, they don't need to negotiate the price of the car at all. They simply stretch the loan to 84 months, mark up the interest, and hand you a deal that hits both your numbers while quietly costing you an extra $5,000 or $6,000 over the life of the loan. Edmunds reported that 84-month loans hit an all-time high in the second quarter of 2025, making up 21.5% of new car financing. 1 in 5 new car buyers is now signing up for 7 years of payments. 7 years. On a car that will be worth maybe a third of the purchase price by the time the last payment clears. When they ask about your down payment, the answer is, we can talk about structure after we agree on the price of the car. Same shield, same poker face. You're keeping every card you can face down for as long as possible, because every card they see is a card they use against you. The fifth question is the credit score question. And this one is sneaky because it feels like the dealer is just trying to help you. What is your credit score? How is your credit looking? Here is what is actually happening. They're trying to figure out how much rate markup they can get away with. And a buyer who says, I think it is around 680, maybe, is a buyer who can be quoted 9% when they actually qualify for 6.5%. A buyer who claims their credit is perfect but doesn't actually know their score can be talked into a special rate that is still a full point above what their own bank would offer. Pull your own credit before you go, whether that is Experian, Credit Karma, your bank's app, whatever, because it is free and you need to know your number. When the salesperson asks, your answer is, I've already been pre-approved through my bank, so we can talk financing after we agree on the price. That sentence ends the conversation because it tells them you have an outside option, your worth, and you are not a mark. I want to be fair here, because not every salesperson is a villain. A lot of them are just people trying to feed their families, working a commission structure that punishes them for being too honest. The system is the problem, and the system is built so that a single transaction has 4 hidden profit centers. The only way a regular person beats that system is by refusing to play 4 hands at once. You play 1 hand at a time. Price first, then financing, then trade, then add-ons. And the answer to almost every add-on is no. The poker game only works if you keep showing your cards. And the minute you stop, the entire thing falls apart and you walk out with the car you actually wanted at a price you can actually afford. The average American is going to spend somewhere around $50,000 on their next new car, according to Kelley Blue Book, S-Late 2025 data. And the difference between answering these 5 questions honestly and deflecting them politely is, conservatively, $2,000 to $4,000. That is a vacation, that is a Roth IRA contribution, that is 6 months of groceries. So here is my question for you. And I genuinely want to know in the comments, what is the worst thing a car salesperson has ever said to you? The line that made you walk out. Or worse, the line that worked and you regret it. I read these comments, I learned from them, and if this saved you even one of those questions, next time you're on a lot, do me a favor and subscribe, because the next video is on the 4 things they spring on you in the finance office. And that room, honestly, is where the real damage gets done.